Alright, cool. Welcome everybody. Run for President Forrest, run. That's the name of the show. Yeah.
Run for President Forrest, run. I love it.
Yeah. Is there a way to enunciate the parentheses?
Run for President Forrest, run. I mean...
You can go like, run for or no, you can say, run for President Forrest, run! Or something like that.
I don't know, we'll get some sound clips in there, but I do know that we have a lot to talk about. We did not record last week, and that was when we already had a Republican debate to cover. Did not do that, but that same night we had a Democratic debate to talk about. So we're behind.
Yeah, a little bit. But man, of all the debates to watch, like these two were intense, to say the least.
Oh my god, there was something to take away from each of them, and you know what? I had my moments of pure joy in all of them. So let's think back, if you will, to 2 weeks ago. Back to a Republican debate. That was the what was it? Third one, right?
I want to say so.
It's the third or the fourth?
There's been so many so far. It's been very hard to keep track.
Yeah.
Luckily, they have reduced the number of candidates that we'll be talking about, or at least largely talking about.
Agreed. Yep. I was overjoyed to hear that joining the little card there was Chris Christie and Huckabee, and that also among them would be Santorum and Jindal, who currently has his campaign suspended.
Yes.
So it's not even...
It's about time, I mean, let's be honest. Yeah.
As little as what we were going to talk about with the little card, we definitely were going to mention Jindal the first time. And we're not going to...
And now he's made he's gotten on our radar by quitting. So, I mean, to his credit.
I mean,
we were ignoring him the first time, we're not going to give him the time of day this time.
No.
Although
I was personally a little sad to see Christie on the Little League stage. Not that he's, viable anymore. I mean, he's on the Little League stage.
No, I mean,
but he was entertaining.
He was definitely the most... Well, no. He's not more fun to watch than Trump, but he is one of the most fun, in my personal opinion, to watch on these stages, because he's just one of the very passionate, let's say. That's the word.
He's got that Nixon thing going for him, for better or for worse.
He was floundering in the first one when it came to 9/11. He just basically gave the 9/11 answer. The second one, he decided to join in on the fun and make fun of the moderators. And now the third one, he's not even there. So it's been a campaign of woe for him, just trying to stay relevant.
Whoa.
Well, he's still on the VP radar, so we'll see if we see him again.
And Huckabee, on the other hand, the thing of it is, no news is good news as far as Huckabee is concerned.
Yeah.
He's not someone that I would have wanted as president to begin with, and I think that reflected well in the polls. And the only thing I can say about him now is he is currently being sued by the guitarist of Survivor because they played Eye of the Tiger at the Kim Davis event.
I remember that.
Oh gosh.
So that's his presidential campaign in a nutshell right now.
Yeah.
He's being sued.
So maybe not this time, buddy.
Yeah, give it a few more years. 4, 8, 16.
So I know it's been back in the past and maybe a little hard to remember, but let's see what we can recollect as far as the debate was concerned. One of us didn't even watch it.
That was me.
Sorry, Kevin.
Yep.
You're gonna be a little behind.
That's okay. I'll throw in my legitimate real-time reactions.
Well, let me throw this at you. What if I told you the best part of the debate in my book was when Rand Paul... That's right, the Rand Paul, the bottom of the lists in every poll.
What are you even doing here? You should be on the Little League, Rand Paul.
Called out Big Dog Trump on the TPP.
On the TPP?
Yep, Trump went on a 2-minute rant about how China is coming in through the Trans-Pacific Partnership, how they're going to take all the jobs and take advantage of the entire agreement, and then Paul said, should we let him know that China isn't even part of this deal?
Oh, God, yeah. I mean,
I love the real-time fact-checking of Trump. People seem to be doing that a lot. That's
They're
happened
just shitting on each other.
3 debates now in a row? People have fact-checked Trump during the debate. One time it was by the moderators, but still, during the debate.
The commercial music was playing and everything. They were ready to go to a commercial break, and Rand Paul just kept talking.
That's
because
so awesome.
no one wanted to interrupt him and say, "Oh, we gotta go to commercial break." They're just like, "Holy shit, he's taking down Trump single-handedly."
That's like the best coverage they'll get in a while.
Yep.
Hopefully not the last coverage he'll get. He's a fun contender to have around.
Oh my god, he's my favorite out of all of them, and I'm a Democrat, so
I mean, yeah.
Hey, as long as it's not Ted Cruz, but I've already expressed my opinion with that. Actually, I think last time we all agreed that of all the people up there, just no one likes Ted Cruz.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Ted Cruz, he's probably vying for some sort of VP ticket, because I don't even think he thinks he's going to be president at this point.
I sure hope he doesn't, honestly.
Because if he does, if he's their pick, he is not going to appeal to anyone that already just didn't like him, and that's the entire Democrat side. There's no way he can win over the Democrats.
No, it's definitely not happening.
Whereas you could see some candidates are already trying to appeal to, like, the centrist side. He's not. He's going to refuse that. That's going to bite him in the ass.
I mean, wouldn't someone not want to appeal to the centrist side if they don't think they're going to win the primary?
You have a point, but at least there are, like, some states where you're allowed to vote in both sides. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So he might be trying to win their favor, but he's not going to.
No.
It's not a viable strategy at this stage anyway.
No, I don't think so.
Alright, so what are you thinking about Cruz?
My take on Cruz, I mean, he plugged the gold standard like midway through the debate, and coming from an economics background, I mean, obviously I'm no PhD, but that's just a bad idea. It's archaic. It's not something we can kind of implement into our system unless we want to put ourselves at a massive disadvantage. But to his credit, it's something that I guess might get him some publicity.
But people don't really care about that. People just want to know... Like, people want to know what the candidates are thinking in terms of the Syrian refugee crisis. They're not really caring about what we're weighing our dollar against.
Well, that wasn't terribly important until after the Republican debate, which we will get to.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very
true.
That
was a fun... That'll be most of the Democratic debate, but that'll be fun. Alright, we'll get there.
I mean, I wonder how long this will be a big campaign thing, since... I mean, obviously the large atrocities happened all at once.
Yeah. I think until
the
it's finished.
well-publicized ones.
I think the correct answer is until it's finished.
I guess so.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's entirely fair.
Okay, so let's see. We touched on Rand Paul, and that was my favorite goddamn moment in the entire debate.
I was on the edge of my seat. I need to go back and watch that.
We
Kevin,
touched on
of all the debates to miss, like you missed this one, and you missed the arguably the most intense debates so far. So I give you a B- today.
I'm sorry.
Not to his credit, there were only some moments from the Democratic debate that I can touch on, because I didn't watch the entire thing. I kind of watched it on an iPad, and even then, I have my gripes, but I tuned into the most important part on that. We'll get to it. All right, let's see.
I know that one.
Was Kasich? Was Kasich even noteworthy during that performance?
Kasich made a big blunder. I don't remember what it was, so let me find out. Give me one.
Kasich, I remember, he was talking about banks. He was talking about banking and protecting citizens.
Of course, yeah. So, the big blunder I thought of his day was basically saying that he himself would be able to figure out who should get additional protections in terms of bank accounts. Like, he himself was going to differentiate between the small business, hardworking people and the evil corporation heads.
What, personally?
Yeah, he made that illusion, and I think we had a full type thing from the audience, because everyone was like, okay, once you get to the point where you're picking and choosing, you're disqualifying yourself a little bit, and I think he said that maybe 2/3 through the way of the debate, and then the rest was just...
No, I think that was basically at the end. And
yeah.
There are few things that you can say at a debate that will basically get you groans and outright booing, because everyone there is a fan of your party to begin with. So you'd have to say something either Democrat or just outright authoritarian.
Yeah, and it was rough. It was you could tell even the crowd was you're going to be able to figure this out. You're not going to put because what are you going to do, a benchmark? And he gave nothing. He very much came off as you said, authoritarian. and that is not to his credit. I wouldn't be surprised if that kills his campaign.
Did he even have a guideline? Did he even say, like, things above this size are considered large businesses?
No, I don't think so.
No, the moderator just said, "How will you differentiate?" And he'll say, "I'll be able to, I'll figure it out. I will differentiate."
Yeah, that was a big non-answer, if I remember
and I was like,
correctly.
"All right, good luck with that."
Yeah. Okay.
For once, it pains me to say, but for once, the conservative base saw through the "I'll figure it out," and I was like, maybe you won't.
Mm-hmm. Fiorina. Let's talk about her. She came off as hawkish as she did the first time she appeared in a debate, and it scared the living hell out of me.
She didn't bring anything new to the table, and so for me, it was kind of like...
But she did discuss no-fly zones, and that is a touchy thing to bring up in international conflict. Because when you're saying, I want a no-fly zone here, you are willingly going to shoot down planes of anyone, including already, like, alluded to enemies. That's saying you're going to shoot down Russia's planes. I can understand where day one, let's declare war candidates are coming from, because that's a answer to what's going on, but it still terrifies the shit out of me. So Fiorina is like acting on that nerve.
Right, yeah. I mean, anyone who declares that while running for president, I mean, I get it, because that was what skyrocketed her in the polls in the first place. But, I mean, like I said, I didn't actually watch this past debate, so I'm just going on what you guys are saying.
Oh,
but
it's playing with fire.
She started off as a strong, independent woman who didn't need no establishment. And she did well with that, and that's how she got from the Little League up to the big leagues. But when people kind of got a bigger view of her, first of all, it's kind of repetitive at this point, and second, it's just scary. I mean, we don't have... Even Trump has tact in saying that him and Putin would get along as opposed to, butt heads and kill each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the older demographic, too, they were around during World War II, where, Cuban Missile Crisis and everything else like that, and, like, where everyone got nuclear weapons. So declaring war on anybody who could blow us all up is probably a bad idea.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
Even to the most Republican minds.
But I think she is appealing to people that are just like, well, fuck ISIS, fuck the Middle East, let's just go in there and clean it up. Like, I'm not going to say it's a very rudimentary view of our place in that situation, but it's certainly not one that's open to negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
At least with Putin.
Well, for now. For now.
But another highlight of that debate was, whereas I think Kasich was vying for attention and trying to get a word in edgewise, Fiorina kept talking everyone, and Trump outright told her to just shut up.
We'll certainly get to Trump, but I mean, my opinion, oddly enough, my opinion is that Trump won that debate. Partially by shutting people down, partially by it's weird to say that Trump had the most level-headed answers of the debate, and I know that's weird because it's Trump, first of all, and it's Trump in a Republican primary debate. But he exuded his power, and he also exuded tact, and that's the combination of which shut down Fiorina and the other compatriots up there.
It's mostly the fact that I think he was the one saying, why is she talking over everybody?
Yeah.
As if to say, you're not as important as the other people who are talking. You need to stop.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
You're not going to find disagreement from me.
Let's see. Who am I forgetting? Oh, right. Bush.
I think that's everyone's sentiment.
Bush, the generic candidate.
Did Bush say anything noteworthy during this?
Not really.
I think he tried saying something along the lines of, like, trying to rally people up by saying Reagan, and that just kind of fell flat.
Was he still shaking everywhere the whole time?
I don't think anyone really, like, talked to him at this point, He's still considered a major name, but I think that's because some forces at work want to still make him the nominee. but it's just blowing
Right.
up in their face.
Well, he's certainly the safest when it comes to, if they're looking for someone who's more of a moderate, he fits the bill quite well. He fits right into his brother's and his father's footsteps. But I think he's finding that the media, or I think him and his backers are finding that the media and the Republican base are much more favoring someone who's not Bush, first of all, and then
Yeah.
beyond that, someone
They're not being kind to him. I
No.
think during that time, a lot of people were saying he should resign, he should stop, he should just quit the entire thing while he still has some dignity left. But lately, I think that's just quieted down. I think people just aren't really caring as much.
He just has a bad legacy. I mean, like, he has good name recognition, obviously. Like, some people really,
Oh,
really,
yeah.
really like the Bush family, but some people really, really, really don't. And that size seems to be growing. Also, it was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Or if he were to win. by the
We've
time he
had
actually
time to
starts.
digest what Bush has done.
Right, exactly. So,
I think there's enough time to put like some sort of mini TV documentary together.
Sure, exactly. I can't
Negative.
help to think though. Like, what's the adage? It's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me once, or fool me twice, shame on me. And
well,
me
as
three
George
times.
W. Bush would say,
Exactly.
fool me once, shame on you.
You,
Fool me twice.
You can't
they,
fool
they
me
ain't gonna
two
fool me
times.
again. Yeah, whatever
You
it
can't
was.
fool me again. No, I think right now his campaign is maybe quieted down. I think I don't know where he saw himself at the beginning of all this, but I don't think it's vying for 4th or 5th place.
yeah, and I'm thinking that, I think I may have said, or I may have thought, a few weeks ago that Bush would be in it till the end. Or he would be pushing through until until all the primary votes. But I think now I think he needs to look to Iowa. I think he needs to, because that's going to be around where a lot of people are knocked out, and he's very much, if he comes in 6th place in Iowa, he's not going to have that great a shot from there, and that might be
Yeah,
a
very true.
very
Right.
convenient place for him to duck out, and I think he might take that up.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of which, how much time? How many? Do they have like some sort of countdown for Super Tuesday?
I don't know. Super Tuesday's in February.
All right, so I think it would still be like
something like that. So we still have some time.
the higher end of the 100 days to Super Tuesday.
Mhm.
So we got time. We got
I think
time.
it's February.
Yeah.
It could be March. I don't think it's April.
Yeah. No, April seems a bit late.
I'm just pulling this out of my ass. So here, that's my job.
Okay. Let's see. Rubio? Is Rubio next? Am I forgetting anyone below that?
Below that, okay, so let's see. So, of anyone in... So we talked about Paul. Do we care about Huckabee?
No. We're ignoring
No,
Huckabee
no.
and we're ignoring Christie now.
Alright, so then...
If
Paul,
you're not able
Fiorina,
to get 1%,
Bush.
you're done.
No, right above that is Cruz, who we already talked about, and then Rubio.
Yeah. I it's my personal opinion. I want to meet someone that genuinely believes someone in the little card can win the presidency at this point. I want to meet someone that fully believes Rick Santorum can pull it through.
Oh, it's easy. Rick Santorum.
I like how you said Rick Santorum and not his wife, not his children. No offense, but
They're supportive, I'm sure.
Well, he was the only one that came to that initial rally when he announced for president.
Yeah.
He was the only one.
kind of interesting.
That should have been a sign.
kind of interesting seeing his kind of fall from grace after arguably winning in Iowa 4 years ago.
Yeah, no, he was on track to be the nominee, and then Romney just kind of came out. But
Yeah, so now he's just an old name. No matter how well he does.
now Christie and Huckabee are in the same league as him, and I was really expecting more scathing tweets, more outrage in the news, just to be like, how dare they move me? How dare they move me to something less popular? I've been in 2 of the major debates so far. You can't do this. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah. I think they realize.
I think
that
they
it's
realize
getting
that
a
there's
little
too
lower,
many people on
and
the
that-
stage.
Well, also that they were at the lower end of it originally. If they complain, then what are they going to respond with? Oh, who else would we send? You are the worst. Like, you don't want to prompt people saying you are the worst.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I thought Paul was at the bottom of the polling for the longest time. So
He was. He's not anymore.
So I'm surprised that 2 people were moved down before him.
Yeah.
But after this debate, honestly, I got high hopes for the guy. He was able to make some sort of moment for himself.
I mean, he manages to be fringe even...
Hold on. Gotta be kidding me. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Suppy.
Jimmy, this is gonna be horrible for editing later.
I'm sorry.
Killing me.
Well, so you were saying that basically your impressions about Paul.
Right, so Paul manages to be a fringe candidate, even when he's doing well. So, I mean, as far as him moving up from here is concerned, I'd love to see it. I mean, I think he's a very interesting candidate with interesting ideas. I don't know if I agree with them, but that's beside the point. I don't know how good he'll do just based on the fact that he is very unconventional just by default, even if he does rally the crowd.
Very true.
Yeah, I don't really have too much to add, mostly because I'm not a fan of him. But
That's fine.
I mean, he's got the unconventional thing down. I'm just like picturing him against Hillary and seeing it being a blowout. And I think at some point the Republican base might identify that.
Yeah, I think by the time the next debate comes around, I think a lot of voters are going to start thinking, okay, who can we really expect to go head-to-head with Hillary? Who can we... Charade's over, guys. Let's stop having fun with this. Who can go against Hillary? And I think maybe that's when we might see Bush's number soar. Maybe that's when we might see, okay, is it really going to be Rubio? Is it really going to be Carson? Is it really going to be Trump?
Carson! We haven't talked about Carson!
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about Rubio now.
I totally forgot about Carson.
How'd you forget about Carson? So you're like his biggest fan.
Carson,
not actually,
Carson,
but
I've lost favor, mostly because he's like when I liked him more, people described him as a pushover, and I agreed to some extent. I was like, oh, yeah, but he's backstabbing, not backstabbing. He's underhanded. He's clever. And he's just kind of proven that no, he's not. He wasn't kind of holding on to anything. He was just taking it.
Well, yeah. I love the thing of it is, I'm echoing a lot of people's sentiment here when I say, what is it about him that is drawing people in? Because he seems like he's asleep every debate. He has, like, no charisma for this.
I mean, so, Carson in general, from just previous debates and everything like that, the way I see it, at the very least, he seems to be, at first, at least, he started off with an air of, I'm a doctor, I'm very smart, I'm soft-spoken, I'm whatever, as if he was someone who just had sort of all the knowledge inside him and was just, like, he's just saying things.
He was sort of like just letting it air out.
Right, he wasn't trying to be, like, the overwhelming politician who's trying to, like, visibly, obviously just trying to rally the crowd. Like, he was an obvious opposite to that, which I think drew people in because they're tired of politicians. They're tired of people trying to rally them with emotions and everything like that. He seemed to be, at first, the person who would just say, oh, this is what I think is logical, this is the best way to do things, and people liked that. When things started changing later on, and people started attacking him, and he started saying things like, well, people started seeing the old stuff, the controversies about him in the past, and then when he said stuff like, I don't think a Muslim should be president, or, like, just any of the other things that he said that have caused a lot of controversy, then he's starting to look like the rest of them, and his original appeal is just going away.
Exactly.
That's what I see. I don't know if anyone agrees, but
I think people saw him as a proxy for, like, their favorite. Like there's the idea that people who are the best at politics don't go into politics because it's nasty and you have to be nasty to be there. And I think people kind of saw him as a proxy for, like, that one friend or that one maybe doctor that is very knowledgeable and has no interest in politics because he just for one reason or another won't go into it. I think they saw Carson as like, oh, he's that guy. He's the soft-spoken guy that would totally be a great president, and he's actually going for it. only to find that he doesn't have the knowledge to back him up. He's got the soft-spoken part that the doctor or friend of yours or anyone's might have, but he just doesn't really he's not that smart.
I think he's an embodiment of what Republicans have been saying about politicians, especially Democrats. They're just very distrustful of them. So why not someone who wasn't one in the first place? How about a doctor? How about a neurosurgeon?
That's true.
Exactly.
That's a thing. That's been rhetoric for a long time. Why not someone in the medical field? Why not someone who's an engineer? Why not someone from a more, I don't want to take the leap and say intelligence-based background, but someone who's in a more technical, logic-based
There's
thing.
somewhere out there, there's this poor, let's just say 32-year-old doctor that was thinking about getting into politics. And he was thinking of doing the platform of, I'm a surgeon, I'm a neurosurgeon, I should go into politics. And Ben Carson is ruining this for him.
Oh.
Somewhere there's someone just looking like, my chance, it's gone. I should have run, a year ago or whatever.
What irks me about Carson is that the autobiography has just been like a smoking gun that has just been going on for a week now, 2 weeks, and I swear to God, it shouldn't even be a thing. That shouldn't be out there. I was at Barnes & Noble yesterday, and I pointed this out, and I'm like, you realize that's been causing him trouble just because he's been lying in it. And he's like, oh, it's embellishing the truth, it's just my story, it's my way of telling it. But you're a neurosurgeon! You don't have to lie about other accomplishments! You know what I mean?
Yeah,
People
I know what you
already
mean.
would think you are on hallowed ground by being in the same OR. Why would you lie about the whole thing with West Point?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Why would you lie about... And here's the kicker, why would you lie about, hurting someone when you were kids? Why would you lie about stabbing someone? And then proceed to defend that lie and say, no, it happened. It happened.
You just got to be edgy. But no, you're
Too
right, though.
edgy.
I don't know why that works with... Or why he... I don't know. I'm not sure.
It's an embellishment of the truth.
It may have sold more books at the time,
Yeah, but
but...
That's
when
true.
you're going to be
If you're-
when you shouldn't be worried about book sales.
I'm sure at the time
when did he
was. I
release
mean-
this? Yeah, because if he released it a few years ago, he might have been like, I'm retired, and I could use a few million.
Do you think maybe it was after he sold that book, he's like, yeah, no, I should probably be president. Oh my God!
Maybe he wrote the book with embellishments, and those embellishments made people go like, hey Ben, you should really run for office. And he's like, yeah, I'll run for president. Ben, we kind of meant mayor, no, president. and now everyone's kind of afraid to tell him, yeah, okay, let's go president, sure.
Maybe those same people are just like, look, he's made it this far. Let's just see how far this goes.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing second best in the polls. He's not doing poorly.
Yeah, he's been consistently second. Hell, he's been eclipsing Trump at some points.
Right. Not at this moment. But
Not at this moment.
He's definitely had his moments where people have liked him better.
We should jump back to Rubio at some point.
Yeah, no, let's do that now. I can't remember anything too noteworthy about him from the debate. I think he's just... I think that's how I want to remember him, Nothing too earth-shattering, but he seems like a very charismatic, rehearsed politician.
He
Do
does.
you remember what they asked him in that debate?
Not? Do you?
Nah. Most of what I remember about him is just him being kind of the golden child. Him being the...
He's got. If I may, and this might be the aggressive Democrat in me. He's got kind of a punchable face,
He kind of does.
He seems like a bit too happy about things.
He looks like that bratty little kid.
No.
Not to say that I want to punch little kids. I love little kids. They're very nice.
Some
All right,
kids
Jared.
deserve a punch. Some kids deserve
We should
a
probably
punch,
edit that
but
one out, but anyway.
absolutely
I just had
not.
Subway.
No, I stand by that. But he just seems like a very polished politician. You know what I mean? You have to say a polished turd, and I'm like, no, not
A politician. No, he definitely... he definitely seems... I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. He's got that...
He's got that charisma about him.
The collected...
That I'm not
but also
I'm not
relatable.
on board with him, but he seems more like a leader than other people on that stage.
I agree.
Right, no, and I'm saying the same thing too. I'm not necessarily on board with his politics. I'm just talking about his vibe.
His demeanor.
the
Kind of
aura he
like
gives
O'Malley,
off.
you know?
Exactly like O'Malley.
Also, to his credit, though he might have a slightly punchable face, it is not the most punchable face up on that stage.
Oh,
Not
my
even
God.
close.
Agreed.
Not even close.
Think
So, I
Who would
don't
we-
think he has to worry about that quite yet.
So besides Cruz, who would we say has the most punchable face on that stage?
Cruz takes the cake.
Cruz definitely does, but I will say I think there's something about Rand Paul that kind of makes me want to just shake him.
Shake maybe. Punch, I don't think so.
I don't think punch.
He's too cute. He's too, like, he's got that face of, like, hi, I'm Rand Paul.
I almost kind of want to be like, you know what, Paul? I can't remember any president that had curly hair. You're not going to be the first. I'm sorry.
Just imagine like a sad puppy Rand Paul. I don't think we could do that to him.
No, don't make him sad. Let him think he's gonna be president.
I can see him as a sad puppy. I just like replacing Rand Paul in tonight's debate. A very sad puppy.
Oh,
We have to give the puppy little macaroni and cheese hairs.
no.
Oh,
But there's nothing about Rubio that I can just. I'm sure he said some very strange things, or maybe raise an eyebrow. But I could see him being the choice. You know what I mean?
he's the
I
family
think
man
eventually.
too.
You know what he's got going for him? He has the JFK thing going for him, where he's young,
Exactly.
he's attractive, he's charismatic, and his policies are kind of they're mostly moderate, but they have that that slight bit of conservatism that could attract the base. He's the one that could definitely bring over some of the slight Democrats if he plays his cards right. He'd just be like, "Hey, ladies."
And you know what?
I'm a
And you know
married
what?
man.
If he doesn't get president, if he doesn't get the nomination, he should definitely be their VP.
He would be a good VP. I mean, he's got the Hispanic thing going for him. I mean, I know this kind of crude way to say it, but
I think they're desperate for that vote,
Yeah.
I mean,
especially
yeah,
if it's Trump. Especially if Trump gets the nomination, he's
Sure.
going to need to win back that vote somehow.
Oh yeah.
that would definitely bring it into more sane waters, which seems to be, I mean, as we've talked about, the opposite of what the VP tends to do.
Yeah.
Bring the whole candidacy into sane waters.
Okay, so what are your picks? Let's just say we have Trump as the presidential nomination. We have Rubio
Which
VP.
is likely at this point.
Sure, let's just say. And let's just say we have Sanders as like the crazy left wing. Who is Sanders' moderate VP choice?
That's the thing. I think,
Sanders' moderate VP choice.
if anything, I think people have been clamoring for Sanders to have Elizabeth Warren as his VP.
That would be let's be straight. That would be
Interesting.
hilarious. Because neither of them are any bit close to moderate.
Yeah, no, but it would echo what Sanders has been saying. It would basically be a two-pronged attack.
Honestly, I think as a proponent, like as a person who loves America and loves democracy, I would love to see just like a Trump Rubio versus Sanders Warren because then the American people can choose the path they want. There's no disguising it. It's what do you want and how do you want it, and that's all it is.
Well, I think if it's
I kinda
Trump
like that.
versus Sanders, I think that would basically say a big thing about American politics. In which case, we don't like what we have right now. Period.
Exactly.
We need to
That's
just.
true.
We're playing Monopoly right now. We are either going to play a game of life or we're going to play a game of Ticket to Ride. We're ending this game right goddamn now.
Game of Ticket to Ride. Oh, that's so good.
No, it's
And guess who's conductor?
anyway. So
Oh boy.
just
But-
to mention Trump real quick, so I know we have to move on.
Well, let's.
Yeah. I think he actually did very well during the debate. He was the, he of all people actually had decent foreign policy ideas, at least in my opinion. Namely in regards to the Syrian conflict, and this was again before anything in Paris. He was saying, hey, if Russia wants to bomb them, we shouldn't stop them. And
Yeah.
arguably, I mean that to each their own as to if that's a good idea. But at least in terms of like a moderate's opinion, I mean, okay, sure, let's let them do it. Let's not get ourselves involved too much.
I mean, like, so I would disagree with that. My reasoning being, anytime Putin puts boots on the ground, that place, or at least in recent history,
becomes Russia.
Becomes Russia or Russian territory in that case, what it would probably be. And
it's what they know.
We
honestly.
don't want. I mean, like, that's significantly closer to things that we have influence over than, say, for example, Crimea. Which, I mean, like, I think if anybody should be fighting ISIS directly, it's either other countries in the region or us, if we want our best interests to be taken into account. Now, as far as should that be happening at all, I'm not sure. I don't really have a super strong opinion there. But if we want America's interests to be looked at, then it should not be Russia. My personal thing.
All right, I like it. I can dig it.
Yeah, I kind of echo what Sanders has been saying about that. We need to get the NATO allies involved. We need to kind of pull back because we did birth this beast. In a sense, we are responsible for it, but I think it is still the world's problem. So once we show it's like a united coalition against it, I think that would speak larger volumes than just, okay, well, America's here to just save the day again, I guess.
Yeah, and as the recent events have shown, it is everybody's problem.
Oh god,
yep. Absolutely.
God, side note about that. Wait, what?
I was gonna say we do have to be a little careful though, because I mean, in Vietnam we kind of it was mostly a French war, and we were like, hey, let's help, and we like got there, and France was like, yeah, bye. So we have to be a little careful.
Well, I do need to make like some comment about post terrorist attack on France. Holy shit, they have been taking no prisoners. Like they are like not fucking around here.
No.
They found and killed the people responsible. They like did so many raids. And despite all that, they're still taking Syrian refugees. Like that's badass of them. Go for it. Holy crap!
Oh yeah, definitely.
Way to show that you ain't shaken.
I think,
which stereotypes of France aside,
with respect, I think as long as the status quo remains, I think that we will see the policy of refugees remain. But if we're seeing like a once a week conflict in Europe, I think we might see some policy change real quick.
I think so.
Yeah,
you might have a chance. I've heard a lot of stories about how if Europe closes its borders, much like how Poland is doing. Poland immediately after the attack said, "Yeah, no more refugees. We're not risking this anymore." Although who's really going to attack Poland again? You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty significant in world history.
Wasn't where's Munich? Is Munich? No, Munich's in Germany. Never mind. Yeah. We're good.
Although, holy crap! If there was an attack in Germany, like the world would feel it. They're an economic powerhouse there.
No, absolutely.
But if Europe closed its doors, I think that might. I wouldn't say that would be the end of it, but that would kind of hurt them a little bit, you know.
Indeed, certainly.
It's like, where would Spain be without the Moors?
Right.
Okay. Well, what's really else? What else is there to say about Trump? I think after that Rand Paul moment, that he caught himself with his pants down. That might have hurt him, but I don't think he was too shaken after that.
I think he's had so many gaffes at this point that it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
what he gets caught saying or doing, because his supporters are going to back him up 100%. Because
and I think
his appeal isn't that he's necessarily
the best at policies. It's the fact that he's able to at least speak freely.
That he quote unquote says what he wants. That he quote unquote can't be bought. That he quote unquote is a good businessman. That he quote unquote whatever.
Yeah,
so,
I think people want to support him on the basis of the economy. Whether or not foreign policies are going to play into that, he's probably going to get some advisors. Which you know, if you're going to be smart about it, you may as well admit that. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, he's certainly shown he knows how to associate himself with strong, or at least people who can get things done, people who can do his will, his bidding.
Right. Right.
So that's to his credit.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else to say about Republicans before we move on?
Not really. Hoping a few drop out. Cheers to that.
I'm hoping for that too. Maybe sometime before the next debate, because honestly, that's a long time to wait.
But then Rand Paul would be a sad puppy.
He would be a sad puppy.
Unless he skyrockets because of that comment. I don't know.
We'll see.
Well, you're holding the polls.
So we should.
I am currently holding the polls.
We should talk about
The
next
Dems.
debate. The Dem debate.
Let's talk about the Dems. Now, the Democratic debate happened the day after the Paris attacks. So, what originally was supposed to be about entirely the economy, there was a quick side trip into foreign policy. At which point the candidates were asked, what was the exact question?
Oh gosh, I don't remember. I thought
What's the biggest threat to America, or
Yeah.
how would you deal with ISIS?
it was there was definitely the one about the big it was like in light of the Paris. At least Sanders himself was asked in light of the Paris, attacks. What do you see as the biggest national threat? And he was like global warming, and so and like the moderator went after him like saying, "Hey, you sure you want to stick by that?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll stick by that."
Now, see,
Bernie's interesting. He very much sticks to his guns.
oh yeah,
no
he sticks to
matter
the
what
same talking
happens,
points.
which-
He does not want to change that.
Right. That's the other way of looking at it too. Like the way I kind of see that in general. And full disclosure, again, like I said before, I hadn't seen this debate either. But just knowing Sanders in general, how much he's very. I know.
Kevin.
How much he's very.
Kevin.
Just he has his two things that he talks about, and that's it. Which can be taken as, oh, he's just sticking to the same talking points because he doesn't want to go out of his comfort zone, or he just really, really cares about those things and thinks those are the two most important things ever.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, I guess we're kind of jumping right in on Sanders. He's certainly. I think he's kind of put himself in not quite a hole, but I think he realizes that it's safer to go with his initial points than to kind of deviate from them now, even in light of kind of new info. He's portrayed himself as the radical, and he doesn't want to be a conformist, and I can't blame him.
Well, it's his platform, and he's sticking to it, and I got to give him props for that. But I said this the second I heard about that, dude. Wrong place, wrong time. Like, sure, you may have a very well thought out message with that, but yeah, it's like being the guy at the funeral of a guy that died from a heroin overdose, talking about how awful drugs are and how we should get help for anyone. It's like, come on, just let us grieve for a fucking moment, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Don't be that guy. Or talking about how bad cigarettes are with a person who just died of lung cancer. Like, we get it. Like, and you know what? I've seen comments from Sanders supporters. I've seen people who are rationalizing that view, and I understand it, but it's just the fact that it came after a terrorist. If this happened on American soil, you couldn't say the same thing about it,
Right.
You couldn't say we need to double down on global warming. You need to say, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, I wonder what he would have said had an attack like that been on American soil. I mean, people have... Yeah, I mean, I wonder what his rhetoric would have been had something like this happened on American soil.
I don't know if we're ever... Because I can't say that's not going to happen if we have a Sanders president. It's just, well, we just haven't had that kind of thing.
Right.
Well, no, but we have some historical precedent. I mean, we saw what happened. I mean, when Bush 2 came in, he was very much he wasn't supposed to be a wartime president, and a fair number of people argue that if it wasn't for 9/11 and the ensuing violence, that he would have been liked as a president, I guess, in hindsight and through his presidency. But we saw him have to radically change. Partially because it's just the country demanded it. There's only so far you can go without because imagine what would have happened if after the 9/11 attacks, if Bush came out and said like, all right guys, this is bad, but the economy's doing okay, so
right.
I think
the closest precedent we have to what Sanders might and the thing of it is, it's not even, it's not close, but it's still just like a tragedy. It was after a particular shooting. I believe this was the one in Georgia.
Okay, go on.
Continue.
The one where the guy opened fire in the church.
Right.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
The Charleston.
Sanders took the mental health route on that. He took the mental health gambit,
Right.
which is it's an acceptable thing to say, but it still brings up the issue of gun control. And I think that's the closest comparison that we have here. Instead of directly addressing the problem, he is addressing what he thinks will cause this sort of thing. So he doesn't want to treat the symptom. He wants to treat the actual thing.
Which is noble, but when something's actually happening, you have to treat the symptom too.
Exactly.
I'm just imagining, someone getting out of a car crash, and Sanders walking up to him and be like, "Oh my gosh!" and he just like runs over to the car and clicks the seatbelt and be like, "There we go." Problem solved.
You're cured now, citizen. You're fine.
That's awesome.
Meanwhile, the guy's walking around like a broken leg, spewing blood. Like,
But other than that, I think he had a very solid performance during all of that. I think he was asked to clarify his stance on gun control, and I think he's he represented his constituency, and he has a different approach to it, but he's not going to back down on it.
Exactly.
Right.
He expressed that there is a common middle ground. That there's a place to.
There has to be
find.
something.
Exactly.
It's not no or all. It's some.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Shall we talk about O'Malley before we bring out the big guns?
O'Malley is at 3.9 in the polls right now.
I'm not surprised.
Which, I mean, sure, let's talk about him, but
But why?
yeah.
And that's I think my summation of his performance at the debate. Like, yes, he looks like a president. Yes, I could vote for him, but why bother at this point?
he is the insurance candidate. Just in case,
In case Hillary has a spastic stroke,
Exactly.
then we'll have O'Malley. And you know what he does? He is a very viable candidate. He has some good ideas.
Sure. He's just not Clinton or Sanders.
But I
Exactly.
think, but this debate, I think he finally realized the only way he is going to have a shot is if he teams up with Sanders and tries to take on Clinton.
Which is, first of all,
Because-
hilarious because that means that they're both going to get screwed. More than likely, I think.
Well, they're not like insulting her or anything, but they are like trying to shake her.
Exactly.
As she is the pillar right now, so if she goes unchallenged, she wins.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as we don't want to say this is a runaway campaign for her, it kind of is.
It's. I was looking at.
And I say that as a full Sanders supporter.
Yeah.
This might be in the bag for her.
I was looking at some of the charts of what was it? Shit. It was Oh yeah, but basically, like, what do you call some? Oh, an endorser, right? It was looking at endorsements and kind of endorsements over time of previous presidential candidates, and she's like way ahead of anyone in the past, gosh, like 20 years or something like that. That is running for president in terms of endorsements. Like, people might like Sanders on the internet and in real life, but she has the powerhouse backing her, and it's gonna take a hell of a lot to knock her off her high horse.
Mm-hmm. I think she has half the amount of superdelegates she needs to secure the presidency.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
gonna. She's. I think she's.
She's got a hell of a lot, dude.
Yeah, she's doing well. I mean, I guess we can segue into Hillary with that.
Oh man.
Yep, and you know what? A happiest moment during all of this, and also the scariest. The one moment that hopefully will not be shaken from her entire campaign on this. Her answer to Wall Street backers.
Oh, I heard about this.
Go on.
Oh yeah, you did. You did, didn't you?
I did hear about this.
Keep going.
And how-
Keep going.
Well, no, I mean, how because she was involved with responding to 9/11.
She has to bring it up.
Right. Well,
Which
yeah,
there is
that.
which there is a better way of phrasing it, but go on.
So she was involved with responding to 9/11 and supporting building back up Manhattan and everything. and so those become her constituents somehow. I'm probably paraphrasing. Does anyone want to?
Well, okay. What started off as I think it was a mention from Bernie as far as reinstating Glass-Steagall, and that turned into it's still a very smart gambit for him, because he has to shake her in the public trust. A lot of people trust Hillary Clinton, and he wants to go the route of, why would you support her when she is being backed by the corporations that hate you? So when she was asked how she would still protect the consumer in light of donations from Wall Street backers, essentially her responses boiled down to, I helped them during 9/11, so they see it fit to support me in my endeavors. And she was a senator during that time from New York, which is an answer, but it's not the answer. The answer should not be, they like me because 9/11. And I think she also invoked the women vote there. He said 60% of my donors are women.
Right.
Which I was, and you know what? The crowd went wild for that entire response. But what made this debate different was it actually tracked how much the candidates were tweeted about. So she was being tweeted at like mercilessly during that point. At which point, like 5 minutes afterwards, they threw up a tweet on the screen which said, I've never seen someone use the 9/11 defense to defend Wall Street contributions.
Yeah.
And she like doubled down on it. She like didn't understand. Holy crap! You are like a caricature, man.
And it's interesting because of the way she used it. It wasn't because I did see a clip of this video later on. It's interesting how she used it because it's not entirely unreasonable how she said it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the tweet is right. It's a bizarre justification, but it is the best possible justification, I think. I think she had that planned out from the beginning.
Oh, for her, yeah. I mean, what else is she gonna say? She has to say something, and the majority of the people aren't going to question 9/11. It's really as simple as that. I mean, you know, yeah, Christie got some flack for it, but when it comes down to it, if we're looking at a general election possibility, which is what she's looking at, you know, she's no longer, like, in this instance, this isn't a primary concern. This is her looking towards the election and saying, okay, I need to differentiate myself. How am I going to do that?
But I think the root of the question was, you say you're going to be working against Wall Street interests. Why do you think they're going to roll over with their bellies exposed and let you just take a crap on it? Like,
yeah.
what makes you think they're going to just lie down and take it?
Because she's a champion of the American people, and 60% of her supporters are women, which isn't even a huge amount.
Yeah.
Also,
so it was just like a Family Guy literally was making fun of her with that Lois Griffin 9/11 thing, and
Years
it just
prior.
turned into that art imitated life at that point.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
What do you think, Jimmy?
My thought is gosh, I mean, she's, what else? I guess it comes back to what else is she gonna say? You know, I mean, the other thing is, like, if this is all just a ploy, if she is entirely planning on just letting Wall Street do whatever the hell they want, that's not really like something you can campaign on. She can't be like, I'm gonna let Wall Street do what they want. So she has to come out the other direction, and if she does, she has to have a justification. I mean, for what it's worth, it's not like there are worse justifications, and this one is the one that's probably going to be safest for her. I mean, that doesn't mean it's safe, but certainly safest.
I guess.
Especially when her competitor is refusing.
Yeah, no, her main competition at this point, Bernie Sanders, has outright refused donations from anyone from representing a corporation, including the CEO of that pharmaceutical company, Martin
my God.
Shkreli or something, or Schreckle.
The pop punk guy.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not even about it being a sizable contribution. It's just where it came from,
Right.
and that's his principle on the matter. Hillary doesn't even need that much money, you know?
Right. I mean, Bernie Sanders too, but I was actually referring to Donald Trump, the lead runner in the Republican Party, also refusing.
Well, Bernie Sanders is the
donations.
opponent first.
Right,
But
right.
Donald Trump, if he gets the nomination, like, he already has his own money. He's funding his own campaign.
Right.
So he's only in this for himself.
But the appeal is I can't be bought. And with Hillary, it's the...
Clearly, she can be bought.
She is being bought, yeah, so...
With respect, though, with respect to Hillary against Bernie, I mean, the amount of money coming in from, like, huge corporate CEOs is got to be, like, very, very small. Because they're limited in their contributions. You know, Hillary's not running her own super PAC because that's not okay. That's illegal. And so, you know, I don't remember exactly what the campaign contribution limits are, but they're not that high. They're in, like, the very low thousands.
But you also just mentioned super PACs. She can't technically contribute with them, but...
They are funding, in a sense, you know?
Yes, but I mean, that on the same side, if someone... I'm sure someone already has, otherwise we would do it. But if someone wants to start a Bernie Sanders super PAC and take corporate money, Bernie can't do anything about that. So, like, at least in terms of, like, what Hillary is directly getting and Bernie is directly getting, corporate donations from CEOs or, you know, people representing, like, you know, I don't know, Bank of America, it's negligible. It's a campaign point. It's not like by giving... It's not by the CEO of Bank of America, let's just say, giving Hillary $5,000 that he's buying her. Please.
Right. That's a good point.
I guess.
I mean, like, it is also an aggregate, though. Like, if a bunch of people who represent all different things that fall under the umbrella of Wall Street are contributing through super PACs and it's not hidden, then it can still be effectively the whole buying her aspect. Just the fact that super PACs are in existence and powerful, and we know what they can do. Right. And Hillary's doing nothing to
really curb that.
Yeah. And you're right, like, no one can stop a Bernie Sanders super PAC from existing, except for Bernie Sanders saying, hey, please don't do this.
Yeah, well, I think...
In his voice.
I think the thing of it is though, if there was a Bernie Sanders super PAC, it would already be going against his interests, you know what I mean?
True.
It's basically saying, we want him for president no matter what the cost, but sacrificing some of his virtues. He doesn't want a super PAC, so
he
what
might not
message
want
would
that,
send?
but yeah, I'm thinking, like, think it's not just all about Bernie. Also, it's about people that just dislike Hillary. If you are a Democrat that dislikes Hillary strongly, you might not agree with everything Bernie has to say, but you still might want him in by whatever means.
That's true.
That is very true. Although it might even be like I think it would be too early for people to spill over to another party and say, well, if Hillary is going to win the Democratic ticket, then I want Trump. And we haven't even gotten to who the nominate. We don't even know who is going to have the nomination yet.
Right.
So I think that's a bit early. Certainly, we're going to see that after the votes are in. But we're probably going to see that on both ends, you know. Although more to the Republican side than to the Democratic side.
I remember that from the last election too, when people were. I mean, I guess 8 years ago is what it would have to be. Obama versus
Clinton in the debates.
Right.
Or are you talking about post that? Right.
Both. I mean, I meant post. So when people were saying, like, I'm a Republican who's going to support Obama because I'm sick and tired of what I'm hearing from, and, like, the whole...
From McCain?
Right. Or vice versa. I'm a Democrat who's voting for McCain because blah, blah, blah. That wasn't an uncommon rhetoric. Which, in this hugely extremist election coming up, if certain candidates make it,
very true.
That's going to happen a lot too. So, I don't know.
Can I just say that I can't wait? I really want this to be some extreme, like, power play thing. I want there to be. I want it to be that if you are a Republican, there is a good guy and a bad guy, and vice versa. I don't want there to be a middle ground.
It's interesting what's going to happen if that... I mean, it would be super entertaining to see, like, a Trump versus Sanders kind of deal.
That would be
definitely.
that would be living my fantasy. It seriously would.
Yeah, because you love Bernie.
No, but I also love that they are the antithesis of each other.
Right. It's
Although they do have the
just...
common ground in which they aren't being bought out by special interests.
Yeah.
So if anything, if we see either of them in office, they would definitely overturn Citizens United like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting point.
That's the... Yeah.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, I just realized that now,
they
honestly.
would try. We'll see how that goes. Citizen United is going to be very difficult to
if
overturn
anyone-
because it's based on the First Amendment right. So it'll be a battle. Let me put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Not impossible. Definitely not impossible.
I swear to God,
But-
I'm subscribed to Barack Obama on Facebook, and I keep seeing that, Barack Obama's finally supporting a petition to overturn Citizens United. Please sign this petition. I'm like, that's the only thing I am hearing from his page.
He also has a super PAC for himself.
Yeah.
He also doesn't have to give a fuck anymore. Let's be straight here. He
doesn't have to.
He's done.
He doesn't now, yeah. He currently does not.
I like this Obama.
He's fun. Everything with the prison reform and everything with the drug reform and everything with just everything that's going on with him lately is very, very fun to watch.
Although we were talking about this before, you hopped onto this. I don't see anyone but Trump doing what Obama is now with connecting with the people. I think Bernie Sanders wouldn't even entertain it. Carson certainly wouldn't. He seems like too sleepy of a guy. And Hillary, I think, was just on SNL just to get people to vote for her. So once she's in office, she doesn't need to do that anymore.
Right.
What do you think?
You guys there?
Yeah.
Jimmy, please don't do this. Don't do this to me again, man.
Are we keeping this part?
Oh my fucking god. Jimmy,
Yeah,
Can you hear
you guys.
Okay.
do you think anyone other than Trump is going to connect with people in entertainment as Obama is doing now with talk shows, with celebrities, with anything like that?
I mean,
I think it's just Trump.
certainly not O'Malley, not Sanders. So we can pretty much cross off most of the Democratic side. I think you're looking at the Republican side. I mean, arguably Christie could have done that. He's the type that could make fun of himself, and the kind that could kind of do that sort of thing. But I mean, he's now kind of arguably almost out of the race. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can see really.
I'm thinking Rubio maybe, but that's it.
Yeah,
He's
I think
he's proven he's gotten something of a sense of humor. So we'll see.
I think it basically comes down to who would show up on a Jimmy Fallon show just for the hell of it, not to promote any kind of agenda, just because, hey, I'm the president, let's have some fun.
Right.
This beat is sick.
Yeah, and
I would love to see Trump bring back the fireside chats, but instead of fireside, it's like he's got a podium in his bathroom or something like that.
shaving moments with the president.
It's like that BuzzFeed video with Obama.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Where it was things everyone pretends not to do, or whatever it was. Things everyone does but no one talks about, with Obama and then that one staffer. And it was really just a thinly veiled commercial for
The healthcare.
the healthcare sign-ups, right?
Same thing
Right,
with
right.
same
I
thing with
remember
Zach Galifianakis in Between Two Ferns, and that was blatant.
Which one is that?
Zach Galifianakis has the show Between Two Ferns, and he had Obama on. And it's just okay, I know you're here to do your plug, so just go ahead and do it. And it was for the healthcare sign-ups.
Right. Well, he put a lot of political stake and personal stake in all the stuff with the healthcare. It's literally has been
That's his
the
legacy
main
now.
thing of his campaign, and his legacy.
So
Yeah.
let me say this. I don't like the healthcare. I don't hate the healthcare thing, but like the slight anarchist in me does want to see like a Republican get voted in and then the whole thing get dismantled and be like, oh, there's 2 years of American history gone.
Yeah, right?
Right.
On the other hand, that would be terrible.
That would just be a disappointment.
Potentially terrible, but still.
It would be a really interesting footnote in history books, but it like
By the way, we had universal healthcare for like 2 years.
that I could see it. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think back to history class back in high school and all the little footnotes that showed up with like really weird things that just popped up in American history and then just disappeared. And calling universal healthcare weird is definitely not the point I want to make there because it's not. But
I could see it as like a "Did you know" blurb, you know?
We could talk about how this
Did you know we
is or
actually
isn't.
did this?
We can talk about how this is or isn't universal healthcare. I'd kind of argue more that it's more of like a ploy into the insurance companies, but that's the conservative in me talking. Anyway,
yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so you think you're caught up? You think we're caught up?
Yeah, I think that's basically it. I mean, we'll see what happens in the next... I'm just hoping people drop out. Like, God, please, candidates, if you're listening, just stop. Please. For us.
Yeah, we've had enough of you. We've had enough.
Thanks. With love.
I will say, I'm very disappointed to find out that the next debate isn't until mid-December. Because that seems like too much of a lull. Like, right now it's mid-November. That's another month.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think all we can really update on at this point would be controversial things that they've said. Speeches like Sanders gave one trying to, I guess, defend or explain his position better because socialism is still a dirty word, which I still have yet to watch. I'm sure he did a good job at it. He's good when he doesn't have to think on his feet.
I think as long as people who were alive during the Cold War are still alive, socialism is going to be a dirty word.
Yeah.
In this country. But also, we didn't talk about real quick when Donald Trump unleashed a crazy rant on Twitter against Kasich. Who?
Oh, please talk about it. Please, let's close out with that.
All right, yeah. So, fun little fact here, Jimmy. I don't know if you heard about this. There is a super PAC for Kasich. Not even Kasich himself, but a super PAC for Kasich, who is looking to run.
Oh, I did hear this. Yes.
Attack.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Attack ads on Trump, and to try to revitalize his campaign, to try to bring down Trump a little bit, so other Republicans have more of a chance. All that, and Trump is not happy. I don't remember if this was last night or the night before at the time of recording this, but he got on Twitter and he just started blasting him, saying, "Oh, he should be using this money to support his dying campaign. This loser, this whatever." Just like very like pointed towards the candidate himself, and saying things like, "Yeah, if they say anything incorrect about me, I'll sue him just for fun." And,
Oh my gosh.
which like
Trump don't give a fuck, and I love it.
very fun choice of words. Yeah.
He's a loser. He's a loser. What do we want with this guy?
And it's just like, it's just so funny. Like, this is the entertaining part of this whole campaign.
Absolutely.
The fact that they're getting so personally, passionate about these things like this. And
That would be the fun thing about a President Trump. He would keep his personal Twitter account and just let loose on all of this.
Which
Like if he
would
just
cause
just
a
got
war.
out of a meeting with Putin, that guy couldn't negotiate for shit.
and then one of Putin's advisors is like, yeah, he just said this.
All right, we're opening up the Cold War again.
Send out the attack bears before he leaves.
I would love to see him also just do like the classic Twitter thing of like just putting something with no context, like, "Yeah, awesome, good news for you guys," and then that's it. As president,
Like, after a bad beat. Like, yeah, I'll call you.
Boy.
Oh boy.
Anyway, I should probably be getting going as well.
Yeah, don't worry. This has been fun
It has.
for if not frustrating, but fun.
Indeed.
Yep. And if nothing else happens in between now and the next time, I'm sure we can always find fun stuff to talk about too.
Of
Oh
course.
god, yeah.
have
There's
some
always
fun.
something going on with. We have like 10 people to track. Why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll stalk their lives. It'll be good.
It'll be awesome.
All right, so signing off. This is Jimmy.
It's Dean.
And also Kevin.
All right.
Take it easy,
Good night,
people,
all.
and get to voting.